sometimes we do not put in conscious effort to know ourselves better, right? So I believe that this personal branding is a concept which is very, very specific to you as a person. So first of all, you need to understand your orientation. You need to understand what direction do you want to go. You need to understand where do you stand right now and where do you want to reach, and how are you actually, trying, or how are you want to fill up that gap in between.
Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Today it is an honor and a pleasure for me to introduce you all to this very particular session where we are going to know more about the importance of self branding. My name is Harsh and I'm going to moderate this session for all of you, wherein I'm going to introduce you all about the event and perhaps the person who is going to interact and address all of us. First of all, I request you all to kindly acknowledge and welcome the presence of our esteemed guest, Dr. Shraddha Kulkarni ma'am, who is here with us. I would like to request all the persons those who are watching this session on YouTube to kindly upload in the comment section and welcome the presence of our guest. Dr. Shraddha Kulkarni ma'am is a seasoned and versatile academician, international faculty, trainer, coach, and image consultant with 12 plus years of experience in corporate training and teaching. She is currently working on adjunct role as director MDP with a Premium B school in Pune. She is specialized in business communication, organizational behavior, HRM, leading and development, and talent and management. She is also Maharashtra State President for Life Skill at WICCI and eminent member of Lean In Group. She is also appointed as World Peace Ambassador by Universal Peace Federation Europe. And I believe her profile has so many things, so many glories, which I won't be able to explain in next few minutes. But I'm pretty sure during this conversation, we are going to learn a lot from her. So first of all, ma'am, I welcome you to in this session. Thank you so much for joining and agreeing to share your thoughts with us.
Thank you so much, Harsh, for that beautiful introduction. And yes, there are more aspects. And as you correctly said, it should not be read out. It should be seen from the conversation that we're going to have. So yes, looking forward to it.
All right, ma'am. It's our pleasure too. So moving to the topic of today's session, which we have chosen is branding, becoming visible, and the importance of self. Ma'am, my first request to you, kindly explain our viewers in your terms what is personal branding and why is it very important?
Yes, of course, sure. So, Harsh, let me ask you a question. When you design your visiting card, right? If I would say that, leave it to me completely, whatever I want, I will write, or the design and the color, everything I will choose for you. Will you be okay with that, Harsh?
No, ma'am. I will be upset
I'm
about it.
sure you will not, right? So the answer lies there. When we say personal brand, it is all about like that visiting card. When we are, so attached to the materialistic things and the world around us, even if somebody spells our name in an incorrect manner, we actually feel bad about it, right? So, as far as our inner self is concerned, and the kind of personality, the kind of value set that we possess, and what exactly do we stand for? So, that is all about our personal branding, and it is very important for us to be projected in the manner or to be perceived in the manner that we want people to know us, right? We should not leave it to all the other people that you think whatever you want to perceive me, you can do it that way. So that in that manner, personal brand is something that talks about you as a personality, your values, your confidence, what you exactly stand for in your life, what is exactly that you want to achieve in your professional as well as personal life, and the most important part of it is how are you going to make a difference in the world as a human being. So yes, that is what personal branding stands for according to me.
Indeed,
I
ma'am.
hope I answered your question.
Yes, ma'am, you did. I think you have given a very detailed overview, and I think the viewers, those who are watching this session, they are surely going to find it insightful. Ma'am, my next question to you is: do you think the idea of personal branding is commonly misunderstood?
Absolutely, absolutely. Whenever we talk about branding, it's all about, the corporate branding. And many at times people feel that, okay, whenever I'm going to have a business of my own, or maybe I'm into entrepreneurship, or I have to sell a product, then branding comes into picture. So, personal branding is a term which generally would not be understood. Like many of the people on LinkedIn as well and on different professional networkings, they ask me what image consulting is all about, or when I say that I work on personal branding, they ask me this question, exactly what do you do? All right, so that kind of questions are there in people's mind, and there are a number of myths that are there around. Many at times people feel that once I reach to a certain position, then probably I would have to establish myself as a brand. So even that is another kind of misconception about personal branding. So yes, you're right that there are a lot of misconceptions and misunderstandings about this world called personal branding.
Indeed, ma'am. Ma'am, my next question to you is: what books or resources on personal branding would you recommend to our viewers?
Yes, sure. So when we talk about personal brand, there is no as such any theory or a concept or a book which can actually will be suitable for all of us to know, right? Unless and until you are interested in studying image consulting or personal branding as such, then of course there are books which are written by Rita Gangwani, or maybe Sabira Merchant. So these people have written excellent books about how to establish yourself as a brand, and you can take a help from them. But moreover, I feel that when we talk about creating ourselves as a brand, we should actually know ourselves in a better manner, because you will be surprised maybe, but let me tell you that whenever I'm conducting corporate sessions on this topic of personal branding, I see that the senior leaders from a company, they're not very sure about their purpose of life, or they are not easily able to tell about the three important things of their life, or maybe their strengths and weaknesses. They have to think about it for a while. Okay, so what it actually shows, it actually tells us that sometimes we do not put in conscious effort to know ourselves better, right? So I believe that this personal branding is a concept which is very, very specific to you as a person. So first of all, you need to understand your orientation, you need to understand what direction do you want to go, you need to understand where do you stand right now and where do you want to reach, and how are you actually trying, or how are you want to fill up that gap in between. So you can read many of the self-help books that we generally prescribe to everyone, which includes Who Moved My Cheese, or Seven Habits of Successful People, or Good to Great. All these books are amazing books which will be helpful for you. But as far as personal branding is concerned, I will stick to the sentence which I have uttered earlier, which is, it is actually very, very person specific. You need to understand yourself better to create a brand of your own self.
Indeed, ma'am. Again, it was a quite insightful answer from your side. I think the viewers who are watching this session, they are surely going to understand this. And not only I think, but I do strongly believe this. Ma'am, I have got one question. Actually, previously I thought I should not include this question, but when I read your profile, then I means thought let's include. And actually, the question is, ma'am, one would define a working mother as a woman with the ability to combine a career with the added responsibility of raising a child. Within this broad term may be encompassed two different categories of working women: the stay at home mother who works from home and the common who works away from home while managing to fulfill her maternal duties. Ma'am, what are your views when a woman give up on her career dreams, either she is a wife or a mom?
Right. So, Harsh, as you said, this is a very, very, commonly heard concept, or commonly heard trend, that, many at times women actually leave their jobs and their careers because they want to focus on their family, or they somewhere compromise over it. My view here is probably a little different, though I am a very, fond of the working category that I belong to, and I enjoy being a working woman. But I would definitely say that this choice lies exclusively to the woman who actually feels what she should do here, right? So if at all a woman is forced by her family or maybe her kids or her husband to stay at home and compromise her career, I would definitely not appreciate that kind of an approach. But if at all she feels somewhere that yes, I should actually stay at home maybe for next 3 years or 5 years, and I should take care of my kids because that is the way I want it to be. Okay, if it is something that she's doing voluntarily, willingly, then I feel that it is most welcome thing for her to do, because then her heart is completely in that thing, isn't it? She will enjoy each and every process of looking at her kids when they grow up. But if at all she's doing it because she's forced by someone else to do it, then half of her mind will always be occupied and she will be continuously regretting that, I'm not able to go out and take care of my career. So it's a personal choice, obviously. And as I said, if at all it's a choice made by a woman, then the entire family and the society as well should definitely respect it. Did I answer your question?
Yes, ma'am, you did. Ma'am, my next question to you is, as of now, we have seen that our life is so much influenced by the all social media platforms. And ma'am, if we talk about
Absolutely.
our personal branding on social media platforms, then how would you recommend we can use these social media platforms? And if we talk about professional platforms like LinkedIn?
Yes, sure. A very, very important question here. I'm sure many people who have earlier have said that, I don't need to be on social media, or it is something which is waste of time and I don't appreciate social media, have actually left with no options during this pandemic, and everybody has been a part of different social media. So yes, I would say that as an image consultant, as an image specialist, a personal brand specialist, I would say that social media plays an important role in your life, because somewhere your views need to be heard, isn't it? People should know what exactly are the values and the viewpoints and the perspective that you have. So social media is the best platform to let people know what kind of character that you have, or what kind of viewpoints that you have. So you can use it for that purpose. That is one. Second, very obvious, is the branding can be done very effectively through social media, because within a click, within an upload of few seconds, you can reach out to lot many people that you want. And then thanks to the social media privacy kind of options that we already have, the measures that we have, we can decide our audience as well, whether we want to go public, whether we want to keep it to our friends or things like that. Yeah. So yes, social media plays an important role, not only maybe when you are working in a business or something, but yes, as a person also. Like, even if you are a domestic engineer, so I don't call housewives as housewives, I call them domestic engineers. That's my concept of terming them in a way, right? Because that's what they do, right? It's not easy. So even if the lady who is a domestic engineer, she can also make people feel her presence and let people know how, what kind of incredible woman, or a mother, or a cook she is, or maybe a wife, or how she's taking care of her in-laws and all those things. She can actually make a beautiful brand of herself through social media. So anybody, I would like to say, that can use social media, but there are important norms that you need to remember, and you have to differentiate between the professional and the personal media. So you have to decide exactly what side of yours you want to project when you are actually into a platform like LinkedIn, and how do you want to present yourself, how personal do you want to go into social media when you're using personal or professional social media. So that thin line is extremely, extremely important for people to know. And I believe that many at times, if you look at this LinkedIn, you will see that people are actually celebrating birthdays, or maybe it's very common if at all it happens in a corporate environment, but they are putting up their pictures and they are going out for a picnic on, and then they are wishing their husbands and kids and everybody on the social media like LinkedIn. which I believe is not a right thing, according to me, of course. It's a personal view of mine. But yes, you need to understand that thin line between the personal and the professional social media networking. Yes.
All right, ma'am. You coined one term, domestic engineer. I like this most, and I will surely add this to my dictionary. Ma'am, my next question to you is,
Lovely.
what would you tell people to focus on as a starting point?
For personal branding.
Yes, correct.
Okay, so as I said, the self-assessment is extremely important here. First of all, sit quietly with yourself, try and understand your own self, because many at times what happens, the kind of society, the culture that we are staying in, we are conditioned in a certain manner from our childhood, and we actually have a very fixed mindset, right? So because of that, generally it happens that we actually follow a certain pattern in our life, okay, everybody. And then if at all we want to do something different, then people say no, this is not the right thing to do, okay. Like for example, doing a job is a very secure thing, so you earn your salary every month, and that is such a good thing, is what people feel, right? And then sometimes, even if you have a very strong entrepreneurial mindset, enterprising mindset, you somehow try and adjust with the kind of conditioning that has happened on you right from your childhood. And that is where you actually miss upon the internal side of yours, the interest area of yours, and you don't understand exactly what you want to do. And ultimately, you actually face failures, you face challenges, you're frustrated, you're annoyed, you're not happy with your life, and you try and do so many things, and then you have to go and visit a doctor for staying happy. So this is what keeps on happening. If at all you're not very sure about exactly what you want to do with your life, because it's your life, right? So you have to decide exactly how do you want to lead it. You should not be focusing on someone else's opinion about it. It's good that you hear out people who are expert in that areas, but there you have to somewhere mingled up with your own exclusive personality, your own directions of life, your own aspirations. You need to understand that very important thing. And then that is how, once you do this self assessment, then you can actually decide exactly what is the way that I want to lead myself on. Yeah.
All right, ma'am. Indeed, it was really a very insightful answer from your side, and I think it's a kind of privilege today we got to hear all those things from you. Ma'am, my next question to you is that what will be your one piece of advice to all the students, those who are still in their colleges, how they can start means creating their personal brand from college itself to make themselves compatible with the industry and make more connections so they can get benefited in future.
Absolutely. This is such a wonderful question, Harsh, and I must thank you for this question, because I believe that is very important. When we used to be in college, at that time there was nobody for us to look up to, okay. So even when we were deciding about our specialization or something, it was all left to us, and maximum our parents or siblings or friends used to tell us that this is how you should go ahead with it, and we used to follow that instructions, okay. But right now, for these kids who are teenagers right now, they have such a great benefit of being connected with the world through internet and through Google Guru, right? So they can get an answer to any of their questions just within a click of a button, isn't it? But sometimes it also works the other way around, okay. Sometimes the information is the information is available, yes, but it is too much of information is available, so sometimes miss on the authenticity of themselves, okay. So that should not happen. The kids should be authentic somewhere. They should understand, they should also try and understand what exactly do they want to do in their lives, and here they can of course seek help from their teachers, their parents, and everyone around them whom they feel or they look up to, Okay, and then once they are clear that okay, this is how I want to, because of course I would not say that they should be very clear about their career path and everything, because that's a phase wherein you're not so serious about all these things and you want to enjoy that phase as well. But at least you should know that what is something that I would love to do in my life. So that clarity has to be there, that authenticity has to be there. You should not do it because all the other friends are doing it. You should do it because somewhere from within that voice is coming that yes, I want to do it. Okay, so all these things are important. Second is how do they present themselves on social media. Okay, many at times I've seen that those teenager kids, they're not aware the kind of photographs they upload, or the kind of language that they use, or whenever they come across any social issue or political issue, the kind of opinion that they do come across on a social media is sometimes very offensive. They don't do it with purpose, with intentions, but yes, that is how it actually is portrayed in front of others. And then the world how it is, right? The world do not take any more time to make an opinion about people or perceive people or to create a perception, and then that leads to certain problems that they may face later. So they have to be very careful about how do they want to present themselves on social media. I'm not saying that they should not be publishing their photographs and parties and everything, but they have to be careful. Even if like I have been to a party with Harsh and I'm uploading a very beautiful picture of mine, but Harsh is actually maybe doing something which is awkward. Okay, because he's not into the frame, he's somewhere behind me. So if at all I put that picture on social media, what will happen? People will not appreciate me, but at the same time they will rather focus on Harsh being in an awkward position, and that will create an issue. Okay, so that should not happen. And the third important thing is these kids are expecting instant results. They get carried away with social media and the digital world. So if at all they're playing a game on a digital platform, and if they lose the game, they lose their heart. They feel that as if that's a very big defeat for them in their life. Okay, and sometimes when they upload something on Instagram and they do not get maybe 100 likes in 1 hour, they start feeling as if they are useless and there is nothing in the world for them. So that should not be the case for those kids. They have to be careful. They need to understand the difference between the virtual world and the real world. So yes, these are the 3-4 things that I would definitely like to tell the students and teenagers. Yeah.
Very meaningful, ma'am. Ma'am, my next question to you, or rather say you have raised the topic of social media trolling. So my next question is regarding that only. Ma'am, what are your opinions? How one should manage this negative trolling and social media trolling or negative comments?
Right. Again, thank you for asking me this question, because answering this question also is very important. Okay, many a times it's not important for you to you should not be getting provoked by anybody. Okay, what you are is your own personality, and what the others are is their own personality, right? So what they say shows and talks about them as a person, not you as a person. So when you do not agree with people, okay, and if you want to present it, or if you want to let them know with a reply on their comment, you have to keep your authenticity intact. You have to use polite words, because there is something called assertive communication, right? So here the importance of assertive communication, or using the words, communicating your message strongly, but not being arrogant, not being offensive, that is very very important here. So if at all you feel like I need to pour my heart out and I need to let people know that I do not agree with their opinion, it's okay, but there is an authentic way to do it. There is a proper way to do it. You did not always have to be very arrogant or very blunt or rude when you're talking to people. So there are simple manner that you can use, or assertive language you can use, and you can still let your message go through and pass through that particular field or that particular issue. So that is possible. And sometimes I guess ignorance is the best option, okay, because many times you getting into an argument, indulging into some disagreements is useless. It is not going to lead you anywhere, and it is unnecessarily projecting a negative image of yours in front of people, because many at times people don't have time to read the entire trail, so they make an opinion about you based on one or two comments or some few content which they have read in seconds, and that could actually harming or harmful for your personal brand. So sometimes the best policy is to ignore if you can. So these are the two ways I believe you should actually encounter with such negativities on social media. Yeah.
All right, ma'am. Ma'am, as we know that now the World Wide Web is not the future anymore; it's present, and I must appreciate that the tech giants has really worked on the privacy things, so that everyone means these type of things should not happen. But ma'am, my next question to you is, if I specifically talk about LinkedIn, then what are the things one must consider while making the connections?
Yeah, sure. So, sometimes I have seen many people being very happy that I have 10,000 and 20,000 connections, and, they try and accept the request of everyone that comes their way, or they send request to everyone, connection request to everyone that they think can accept their request. And even if people ignore them, they keep on sending the request again and again. So this is not something that is actually going to help you any which ways, because nobody interested whether you have 10,000 connections, 20,000 connections. How are you actually encashing those connections, leveraging those connections that you are connected to is very, very important here. Okay. So I'm not saying that that means that you have to be very choosy and picky, but yes, you at least have to have some basic filters applied when you are actually sending a connection request to somebody, or accepting someone else's request, that there has to be some match, some connection between you and the other person. Maybe you can have some exchange of ideas, exchange of knowledge, maybe your professional setups are the same, or maybe the culture that you're coming from is the same, or there has to be something which can be something valuable, which can be either obtained by that person or you can deliver to the person. So these are the factors that you surely need to take into consideration. I'm not saying that you should not have a lot of connections. Even I'll be happy when I'll have my 10,000 connections, and I will also celebrate that for sure. But I will at the same time ensure that those 10,000 connections are not every Tom, Dick and Harry. It would be somebody who's actually have something in common with me, and that's how I will appreciate to have those many connections. Yeah.
Indeed, ma'am, you have given a very meaningful answer, and I'm quite impressed with your answer. But ma'am, I can say there is a lot to learn from you, but today I don't want to take you much time. So, moving to my last question of this session, actually, the question is, ma'am, what do you focus on for the development of your own personal brand?
Yes, sure. Harsh, for me, personal brand is not a limiting belief, right? Because I believe that everyone should have strong beliefs, but those beliefs should not be limiting beliefs. That should not be keep you in a certain framework. You can be limitless, and you can achieve as many things as possible, as many things as you want. Okay. And that is what I keep on focusing when I'm talking about my personal brand. So when you say that she's a versatile professional, I like that idea. Okay. I do not keep myself into a framework of just being a mother, or just being a pet lover, or just being a professor, or just being a consultant. I want to actually feel and understand everything, because the larger purpose that I have in my life is to touch upon as many lives as possible, and to make people to leave behind a legacy, to make people feel and get inspired to live a fulfilled life, and as well as think about continuous improvement. So I aligned everything that I do towards this purpose. So I am Mrs. India 2018. I am a face of Swarovski 2020. And then you know that I am image consultant. I am an transformational and powerful image coach. Yes, you've correctly said that I was working as MDP director, which the position I have left a little while back. But yes, apart from that, I am also a professor. I teach my students, I train them, right? So many at times people used to tell me that you cannot be into a glamorous field because you're a professor. So that proper image of somebody is wearing glasses and gray hair and things like that. So simple living and high thinking kind of a personality has to be there when you talk about a professor, otherwise students will not accept you. But let me tell you, my students are extremely happy with me, and they keep on telling me that they love me and they look at me as a role model, because I am trying to balance two different fields here, and I'm trying to give justification to both the fields. So again, that's what I do as creating my personal brand. I don't want to limit myself, or I don't want to fit in a certain frame, but I want to keep on learning something new all the while, as much as I can.
Indeed, ma'am. Again, it was a wonderful answer from your side, or rather say it was a wonderful message for all of us. Ma'am, thank you so much for joining and giving your important time. It was a healthy discussion with you on the topic. We look forward to conduct more such sessions with you in future. Thank you so much
Sure.
for joining.
Thank you so much. Have a blessed life and all the best for your future interviews. You're doing a wonderful job, Harsh. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
On the ground is where I stand. Never give up, that was always the plan. It's so cold outside. I'm alone, I'm alright. It's so cold outside. I'm alone.